Did you ever feel like you had to, stay strong for others whilst dealing with your own grief?
Yeah, sometimes. They didn't lose their parents. It wasn't their burden to carry. Okay, I need to be strong. I need to carry myself well. There were so many people surrounding me. I got paranoid.
So was there a turning point where you started to feel like you were moving towards healing?
I discovered that I'm resilient. Grief is comfortable. Sorrow is comfortable.
Wow. Hello and welcome to the Arise and Shine podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Obeng, and today we are joined with Kensemah, founder of Barbara's Daughter and producer. Thank you so much for joining me today, Kez. One of the things that I'm keen to do on this platform is to help individuals build confidence and resilience. Yeah. And one area that is, I would say, let's talk about is grief. I'm so grateful for you coming onto this platform today and sharing your journey, because it's not easy to talk about grief, but you've come out here to share your journey with me and my audience. And all I can say is thank you.
Thank you for having me.
So I would love us to go straight into the discussion.
Okay.
Can you take us back to that time when you lost your mum? What was life like for you?
It was a very scary time, if I'm honest. I think it all happened so abruptly that I felt very lost at the time. It was very scary. It was very sad. I was having to figure a lot out very soon. There were a lot of changes that were happening. It was a lot of unanswered questions, if I'm honest with you. There was a lot of times I needed to know why. There were so many whys for me at that time. And yeah, I just found myself in this space of nowhere and everywhere, if that makes sense. I was doing everything at once, focused on, laying my mum to rest, also trying to focus on who I am, but having none of those answers at that point because I'm so consumed by the grief, the pain, but also the obligation. I felt obligated to get it right, to do it right, to send her off well. So yeah, it was a lot of emotions all at once.
Just 3 months later, you faced another heartbreaking loss with your dad. How did that impact you emotionally and mentally?
I think initially, this is going to sound really weird, but initially, when I found out my dad had fallen unwell, I felt this real surge of like, let me look after you. Because unfortunately, they had a similar cancer. So I knew what was coming. So when I met with my dad and I realized, look, I know we're coming to the end, but I knew what it was going to look like. So I was very focused on making him comfortable, answering any questions I didn't get the chance to have the answers to. I was very focused on being the daughter that he needed me to be. It was a very sad time, but also I took pride on being able to be his caretaker. I think I was in so much shock, but I was also like, you got to get this right. You got to get this right. You've learned from your mum. You know what it's going to look like. Make sure everything you didn't do for mummy, you can do for your dad. So I was just very focused, but also I don't think I had any emotion left. I think there were so many emotions but I couldn't grab hold of any of them long enough, if that makes sense, to really deal with what was going on.
And many people describe grief as coming in waves. What did grief look like for you, especially in the early months?
When it first happened, I was numb. I was very, very numb. So right at the early stages, I was very numb. I was on autopilot. And as time went on, it just progressed to this like flood, this waves of emotion. So there was sadness, intense sadness. I mean, I don't think I've ever been that sad in my life. The sorrow I felt for my brother and I, our family, but also grief, as a part of the grief was grieving their lives. I was grieving them. I was like, you didn't get to do this. You didn't get to go. You didn't get to do that. I was grieving for everyone, including myself. Then there were times when I felt okay. I felt like, okay, I'm going to make it. I was balanced, and I had a lot of friends around me at the time, who were really there to support me. But it definitely came in waves. You're sad, you're happy. Anger didn't come till much later, if I'm honest. And I don't think enough people talk about that. You know, like, it's like, oh, you're not allowed to be angry. You're a Christian. Oh, it doesn't matter. You know, oh, it's okay. Which really got on my nerves at the time, you know, not all Africans, but as a part of our culture is very much, it's okay. I don't need you to tell me. It's not okay right now. So it
100%.
it was waves. It was waves of everything. It was physically, the grief was, it took my sleep. I did not sleep. I definitely had a couple of illnesses along the way. Yeah, it was just
It's a lot. You know, your mum, and then 3 months later, your dad.
Mhm.
It's a lot. Were there any moments where you felt completely overwhelmed? Like, this is just too much. And if so, how did you cope during those times?
I think the first time it just felt like it was too much. I just stopped. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to give you the cliche answer. I just stopped. I was in freeze mode. I was just sitting there. I almost felt detached. It's like I was looking at myself from above. I was just like, you need to move. You need to do this. And I just stopped. When I felt overwhelmed, I'd just sit in the emotions sometimes, and I'd look at old pictures.
Mm.
I'd reminisce. I'd be on the phone with my friends. Another one for me, a big one, was the gym. When I felt overwhelmed, I had to throw myself in there. There was one point, I think I was in the gym for like 3 hours at a time.
Oh, wow.
3 hours at a time, I was going heavy because I needed to, you know, that feeling of overwhelm, it consumed you. It needs to go somewhere. You need to,
You need a release.
yeah, you need a release. So the gym was mine. Church was mine. When I felt really overwhelmed, I would go to church, I would pray, and I'd really call out as well. It wasn't like, I mean, I was bearing my soul, because I was like, for me, I'm the kind of person, when I'm overwhelmed and there's so many emotions, I'm not internal. It has to come out.
Come out.
Has to.
You know, losing both parents in such a short amount of time. I
Mhm.
mean, that's unimaginable pain. What was the hardest part of that experience for you?
There was two things. One of the things was knowing that, when I say this, sometimes my family, they get so upset. They're like, don't be so dark. But it was knowing that there was no one in the world that was ever going to love me like that again.
Mm.
Apart from God or my children, there was no one in the world who was ever going to care and love me in that way ever again. I was never going to be that important to anyone, which sounds dark, but also there was a light at the end of the tunnel with that. Because when you do enough digging and searching, you realize actually there is someone, if not only God, it's you as well. You will love yourself that much. You will find that strength. You become your parent, if that makes sense. I became my parents. I had to love myself. Like, what would my mum want? What would my dad want? What do I want, you know?
And did you ever feel like you had to, stay strong for others whilst dealing with your own grief?
Yeah, sometimes it does get like that, because you start to feel really bad that you're like this dark cloud and everybody is just having to be around you and feel this heaviness. So you start to feel like you have to be strong because you don't want to bring other people down.
Down.
Because in all honesty, I lost my parents, and people around me were grieving with me, but they didn't lose their parents. It wasn't their burden to carry. It wasn't their sorrow to continuously carry. So at some points I was like, no, I have to be stronger. I can't just bleed out everywhere. It's not fair. Like, it's happened to me, which means essentially I have the capacity to hold this, but not everybody, because it's not their journey. They're not going to have the capacity to hold this amount of sorrow. So you have to be strong. You have to put on your big girl panties and you have to hold it in. When you go home, journal. My nephew as well, I felt like I had to be really strong for him, because now there's no grandma and granddad on, his dad's side. And I had to be strong for him. I couldn't allow him to not have the upbringing and experience that my brother and I had.
Yeah.
I couldn't allow him to like remember me as like the sad auntie, the one that, in the corner. No, it's not fair. It's not fair on him. So, yeah, there were times I felt like I had to be strong for everyone and no one at the same time. But the kids in my life, I had to be strong for them.
Yeah.
They gave me, because they're all looking up at you. I can't, when people say when you have children, then you really realize your purpose and why you're here. And these kids are looking up at me and they're like, Auntie Kensemah, and in awe. And I'm like, what do you see that I don't see right now? Okay, I need to be strong.
Sure.
I need to carry myself well because you're watching me.
And what role did your support system, so friends, family, the community, play in helping you through that loss?
This one, okay, so everyone. I remember in the beginning, there were so many people surrounding me. I got paranoid. There were so many people there helping me. I was like, do you guys think I'm a loser? Like, why are you all here? Like, it's non-stop. Because I'd wake up in the morning, one friend would call me. I'd call one friend and I'd stay on the line with him while they were getting ready because I just couldn't go to work at the time. And then somebody else would call me and check up on me during the day. And then people would visit me at my house. All of my friends came together. They grieved with me. I don't know if this makes sense. Sometimes I didn't have anything else left to give, but there was so much sitting inside of me and they would grieve for me. They would validate my feelings. So my friends came together very, very strongly and became my family, like my sisters. I don't just say sis now for the sake of it.
Yeah.
No, these are my sisters. Like they see me ugly, down and out. They were there to listen to me, walk with me, help me find myself again, stand with me in my vulnerability. There were times I was so scared. The level of vulnerability you feel, it's like, in your dreams and you feel like you're walking around naked and you're just like, oh my God, that's how I felt. And I'm going to my girls who like have been close to me all my life, but not at this level. This is something that would be reserved for family. And I would just bare my soul to them. Like, I don't have the answers. What do I do next? And they were just guiding me through it. And they were doing the research as well. Like they were really doing the hard work. So yeah. And my family really stepped up. My dad's side and my mom's side. Even though my brother and I, we lost our parents at an older age, but they really came forward and they really have come forward and tried to be the parental figure that we still need. You get to a certain point. If I'd lost my parents when I was younger in my teens, it'd be different. But losing them when you're a bit older, you kind of feel like, okay, we'll get on with it, But all my family took the time to sort of parent me through and check up on me regularly and support me whenever I needed it and anticipate certain days or situations, include me in things. Yeah.
I believe it's so important to have that support system around you, be it your friends or family or wider community to just pour into you at that particular moment to help with the healing process. So was there a turning point where you started to feel like you were moving towards healing?
Do you know what? I remember waking up one day and I woke up and I was like, I had a full night's sleep. It was uninterrupted. I woke up and I was like, something feels different. And I was like, I didn't wake up in the middle of the night.
No.
It was literally that I didn't wake up in the middle of the night. I had a full night's sleep and I woke up. I can't remember exactly what day it was, but I just remember the feeling. And when I was stretching, I was like, oh, so this is what I've been looking for. Okay, this is what I need. Because prior to that, I'm waking up in the morning, I'm like the Tin Man. I'm so tired and I felt so restricted. So yeah, I just woke up one day and I had a full night's sleep. And I just remember there are moments when like someone would tell me something and I'd remain happy. Someone told me prior to that, oh, like, you won £1 million. I'd be happy for like a minute. Like, yeah, oh my God. And then I'd be like, and everyone would be like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, yeah. But happiness came back. Joy came back. If I'm honest, it's joy. It's not even happiness. Joy, that undercurrent. And I started feeling like, oh, okay, the sky's blue. I can appreciate that. Full night's sleep. I can appreciate that. Yeah.
You got your full 8 hours.
Full 8 hours. I can't hear anything in the like sometimes when you're grieving, you fall asleep and you're asleep, but you're not really asleep. I can hear everything. So friends, I'd be around friends' houses sometimes, be like, oh, let's have sleepovers. My friends did a lot of sleepovers as well. And they'd be like, shh, she's sleeping, don't wake her up. I'm not sleeping. I'm like this. I'm like, I can hear, what do you want to eat? So we make this. So what do we do now? Let's watch this film. And then I would wake up. I'd fall asleep at like 10, then wake up at 3 and then they'd be asleep. It was a different time, so having a full night's sleep.
And how did you allow yourself to process and, I would say, express your grief in a healthy way?
Oh, I don't know if it was always healthy. I'm going to be honest with you. I think a part of it came from like turning my pain into power and being like, no, I deserve to feel like this. I'm not holding this all in, you know, like it had to come out. You're allowed to feel this way. Give yourself that space. What are you gonna do? Just sit here angry? No, you got to let it out. Like, I deserve this. I deserve to feel happy. So that not feeling happy gave me the vim to be like, you're gonna feel happy, you're gonna process these emotions, you're gonna say it out loud, you're gonna grieve the way you want to grieve. At times, yes, you get embarrassed and you apologize, and that's when it's not as healthy as you would like it to be. But also, people that are grieving, sometimes your life's at a standstill. I remember there was a time where I just wanted to stop and be like, stop, they're dead. I just wanted to shout to everyone, why are you all moving? Why are you doing this? Don't you know that they've gone? The world should end. I got to that point, and you just start seeing that everyone's moving and you're like, no, I've got to move. I've got to process this. I've got to move, because I can tell you at some point I could document everybody's life. Like, I'm like, oh, there's another one. Oh, do you want to be a bridesmaid? Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll walk you down this path. And I was like, no, I've got to process this. I've got to live as well. I'm not living anymore. You know, like, I started noticing the patterns of life too much. Why can I anticipate what's going to happen? Because I'm just standing here, not observing, not processing. No, I wanted to be happy with everybody else. I wanted to get back on the train with everyone and go on holidays and smile with everyone and not have this niggling like voice in my mind, like, oh yeah, this is fun, but it's not that fun. Oh, we're laughing so much, but yeah, today's 450 days since they died. No, I just wanted to be present. You know, like right now, I'm present here with you. I want to enjoy this moment. I want to enjoy it. I as much as you deserve it, I feel like I deserve that too, to experience life to the fullest. So yeah.
What were some practical things that you did to take care of yourself during that difficult time?
I went for a lot of walks. The gym was there. I started like using my body in a different way. I wasn't just gymming, it was yoga, it was Pilates. I really started getting in touch with my body. Massages. Massages were a big one, because you store grief in your body, you store sorrow, you store pain. So I got a lot of massages. I make it now a priority. If I do this, I'm like, yeah, I'm booking a massage. I don't even think
Yeah,
twice.
same. Same here.
I'm not.
Same here.
I'm like, okay, and can I get cupping? Can I get this? Can I get that? I
I
carve out
pay for that deep tissue.
every time. And you know what? If that 60 minutes doesn't feel enough, can I add on a bit more? Yeah, sure. Deduct it, because
Yeah.
this is what I need. So those practical things like reading, going for walks, getting massages, doing my hair.
Getting your hair
Yeah,
did.
my hair did, my nails. Nails became a big thing. Nails. I had to go and do my nails. And I'd get my nails done sometimes, but then one day it was like, I did it once and I was like, no, I need this. This is a part of it. Just looking after
Of yourself.
myself. Yeah. Yeah. On podcasts.
And podcast.
Oh, I listen to it, but I'm the podcast queen.
Oh, okay.
Podcast queen.
That's
Oprah and I at one point, we were locked in. That was my best
okay.
friend. I knew everything. I'm telling you, on grief, on honestly, I know you guys are, but Oprah and I, we were locked in. I knew everyone that was coming on the show. Then I was on podcasts. I
Yeah.
had to hear grief
You
and
do what you
sorrow.
have to do, right?
Yeah.
And so if it's podcast, if it's watching, content,
Yeah.
going for walks, journaling, it's what works for you,
Yeah.
right? And so looking back,
Mhm.
what inner strengths did you discover in yourself through this journey?
I discovered that I'm resilient. People would always say that to me, but I saw it and felt it for myself. I remember I'm a big advocate for therapy. Everyone should see a therapist in whatever way.
Right.
I went to therapy and I was telling this lady about how sad I felt, and I'm pouring my heart out, and I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. And then by the end of it all, I'm sitting there and she goes, you're gonna be okay. And I said, you reckon? Like, I'm looking like a baby. I was like, you reckon? She goes, yeah. She goes, you're resilient. And I thought, okay, I'll put that in my pocket, whatever. I don't feel it. But the fact that I'm standing here today,
Yes.
I realize I am resilient. You know when they say like, kick me down, I get back up? Yeah, that's me.
Yes.
You can't keep me down.
Yes,
I'm like,
Kez.
who is it? Jason. That he just keeps on running. He doesn't stop. Like, I will always turn up for myself.
I think resilience and resourcefulness as a key inner strength during that time. I think that's amazing, Kez.
Yeah. My ability to love as well. Love became like really a big part of me.
Did this experience change your perspective on life, relationships, or even your purpose?
Yes, big time on life. I always thought life was to be lived, but now I really know it is. Like, it's to be lived and it is yours. This is your life. You haven't got time to care about other people's opinions.
Facts.
Nobody cares. They care for about 3 minutes. And after that, they are thinking about their own lives, their own bills, and where they're going in life. So, yes, life is to be lived. It is yours. Live it unapologetically. You don't have to feel bad about what it is that you want to do as long as you're not hurting anyone. Okay? As long as you're not hurting anyone, you're entitled to live the life that you want. Prior to losing my parents, I came from a very tight-knit family, very tight-knit. My mum and I were best friends. My dad and I, we had a great relationship. You know, that was my core. I didn't need anybody else. It sounds so bad. I don't know if you remember, like, in college, how, like, free I was. Like, la, 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 la. Because I just retreat home to, like, my bundle of love. If the world didn't like me, I genuinely didn't care. I was like, I'm going home to my mum and my dad, my brother, and we will love each other, and I feel safe there. And then they left, and I had to start forming relationships with other people. And it was kind of scary. It was scary because now I had to learn that people could love you outside of your family. They could love and care about you, and they don't have to be related to you. And I'd have conversations with friends again, like I say, like, why are you doing this? And they're like, because I love you. And I'm like, you love me? You don't even know me. And they're like, no, I do know. I'm like, do you really? So I had to form deeper relationships, should I say? Because I was very comfortable at home. My relationships were deeper. I had sisterhoods. My ability to love is very different now. The way I want to love is so precious. It's so pure, and I want to experience it that way. You know, it being precious and pure is so patient. You know when they say love is patient,
Yeah.
love is kind. My understanding of love runs a lot deeper because I know that if you are lucky enough to experience love, take it for all that it is, and it doesn't last forever. So these relationships, nurture them, you know, grow with them, be fearless. Life is all a journey, and then it ends. And I never wanted to look back at the end of it all and be like, damn, I didn't do this. Or in this relationship, I could have given more.
Yeah.
My purpose is to always have joy, always be fulfilled, and to do what I want. And my purpose now always changes. I'm not stuck in a box. You can't put me in a box even if you tried.
I love that.
Like, oh, you're this. No, I'm not. Today, I've decided I'm going to be this. And my purpose now is a journey. And I'm very comfortable with that. So I was talking to my girlfriends. I was like, guys, you know, I've tried so many different things. I start and I stop and I stop and I start. And they're like, yeah, we know, but we're still supporting you. And I was like, in the beginning, I felt a bit bad. And I was like, no, I don't feel bad. I'm finding my purpose. I'm in my purpose. I'm in the journey. And when I feel something, I'm going to do it. And if it doesn't work out, okay, you don't need to you don't need to beat yourself up about it. Okay, you didn't become the next CEO of this company. Let's pivot, like you say.
Next.
My purpose is to make sure that I leave an impact and it is genuine.
I love that.
I want to be genuine every step of the way, because when I finally leave this earth, I'm leaving it like the way I came in. I'm like, I did this. I'm in my purpose. I lived life the way I wanted to live. I tapped into everything I was interested in. Some failed, some didn't. Okay, but I'm still success. Success for me is different now, like in my purpose. So that makes sense.
I love that. What lessons have you learned about grief that you wish more people understood?
It's okay to be sad. It's okay. Grief taught me that it's okay to have down days. It doesn't mean you're weak. It means that you are processing and sitting with emotions to move past them. That's what grief taught me, that in order to get to the next stage, you got to go through it. And
you have to go through it.
yeah, there's power in vulnerability. You know, grief is like, how can I explain it? Grief is all consuming, and then it also triggers so many other things in your life that you haven't addressed. So grief taught me that I should be comfortable sitting with all my emotions, facing those things. Like, there are some things are compartmentalized, and you can't ignore that, you know? If you ignore it, it's going to manifest itself in another way. I think that's what grief taught me. I don't know how to say it. Like, life is short. You only get one chance at this. So just do it authentically. Like, just do it how you know best. Turn up as yourself. And whoever's meant to be with you on that journey will be there. And who's not won't be there.
Yeah, on the fall away.
Life is so short. And you've got to just live it the way you feel best, because then at the end of it all, those regrets, why are you regretting things?
Yeah, no, 100% hear you.
I mean, yeah, like you doing this podcast now is amazing. Like, you know,
Right,
no regret.
right,
You're living your
right.
purpose. You're everything you want, desire, foresee for yourself. You're making it happen.
And we had that conversation, some weeks back that, for a long time we've given, to other organizations or, corporates, but have we also taken the time to give back to ourselves? So that's really important. So if you could go back and give your grieving self just one piece of advice, what would it be?
Stop trying to figure out all of the answers straight away. Stop trying to fix yourself and give yourself a time frame. Focus on your resilience. Focus on, because you're always going to carry this sorrow with you. You just need to strengthen yourself up so that it doesn't feel as heavy. And I would like to say, don't sit in it for too long. It's so easy to get comfortable in grief.
Don't sit in it too long.
No. A lot of people won't. There are a lot of people out there who are grieving in depression, sorrow, and they're masking. And because they don't want you to know that they're sitting in it. Like, if you sit, grief is comfortable. Sorrow is comfortable.
Wow.
Depression is comfortable. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm not saying we shouldn't feel it. But what happens is you can ensure it's going to be there every day. I'm going to be sad tomorrow and the day after and the day. I can think of 1,000 things that's going to allow me to stay in that space and not have to move forward. But in reality, it's because you're scared. Like, don't sit in that grief. You're wasting your time. Process it. Walk through it. I think, does that make sense?
And today I would say, you're in a much better place.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
What would you say was the key thing that helped you to transition from a place of grief to rebuilding again? I'm rebuilding my life again. What was that key thing?
Maybe time.
Time.
That time was ticking. I was getting older. And my goals I wasn't ticking my goals off. My vision board, I'm ignoring the left side. I'm not looking at left corner because I haven't focused on that part. I was like, no, I want to start looking at my vision board in its entirety.
Yeah.
So time, I was like, you just don't have time.
And that just goes back to your earlier point in terms of, grief isn't easy, but try our best not to sit in it for too long.
Don't sit in it. You have to walk through it. When they say, I don't want to be quoting the Bible like that because Lord knows I don't know the Bible like that. But when they say, like, when I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I hope I feel it. Like, I'm walking through it. You got to walk through it.
How do you honour the memory of your parents while continuing to move forward?
I show up as my best self each and every day. I am me every single day because they made me. They birthed me. The least I can do is show up as who I am.
I love that.
So when someone like, oh, that's Richard and Barbara's daughter. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I show up as my best self. I'm honouring them by being my best self. I'm half of one, half of the other, and then I'm all of me. So I turn up as me every single day.
Love that.
So I'm working on a project again. This is a project I worked on for a while, and then I stopped. And I think because at the time I thought, I was like, I'm gonna give it this Disney story. She lost her parents. She was down and out. Then she came back stronger than ever with this organization that saved lives. So I wasn't really thinking why I wanted to do it. It was to prove a point rather than it being genuine. But I'm now opening back Barbara's Daughter again, and it is a space where women can come together, and eventually I'd love it to be men, but where women come together and you'll be provided various services, whether that's, I'd love to have a choir, a book club, group therapy, one-to-one therapy. These are the services that I would like to provide in the as part of Barbara's Daughter. Basically, it's a hub space for women to come together and rebuild their lives from every angle.
Amazing.
So having a choir, Listen, you need to sing, you need to exercise your muscles in your body. When you're grieving, you shed yourself. You're no longer that person. The truth of the matter is, you're never going to be you again. You have to build that new person. And that comes from doing therapy, group therapy, knowing you're not alone, knowing that you can speak to someone and they're like, no, that's not bad to think that,
Yeah,
processing.
yeah.
But also, you want your inside to reflect your outside. So then when I got out of the grief stage, I was like, who am I? What do I dress like? How do I represent myself? You know? And when you're around other women, you know how we bond and we just we're like, oh my God, that would look so nice. And you're like, yeah, that feels like me, like, so it's a space where you can come together and just really connect and start to nourish body, mind and soul
So
all together. So yeah, I'm looking for people now.
I love that. I love that. And so what brings you joy now, and how do you prioritize your emotional well-being?
It sounds so simple, but doing me. Just knowing that every day I do what I want to do.
Yeah.
I'm genuine to what calls out to me, that I'm not fearful. That brings me joy, that I'm living my authentic self doing this podcast with you. That brings me joy, that I'm just walking in my purpose. I'm not afraid. Um, Going for walks. Walks are a big one.
Yeah, 100%. Like clearing your mind.
Clearing my
I
mind.
think that definitely adds to my well-being. Sometimes
Yeah.
I just need to get away from my desk and the
Yeah.
busyness of life.
And also therapy. I prioritize therapy and working out. I will go to my therapist. We will have our chats. We will process my thoughts. Sometimes there's not a lot to speak about. Sometimes there's nothing really. But
Mm,
I, after a hard week or two, I need to decompress. I need to let it all out.
out.
And I don't want, it's a safe space. You're not judging me about how I feel or what I'm struggling with. So therapy is a big one for me. Yeah.
And you found that useful as opposed to just, maybe releasing or letting it all out on immediate family and friends. This is someone
100%.
who's not in your immediate root
Yeah.
connection.
Because at some point, your friends, they just want to see you happy. Your
Yeah.
family just want to see you happy. So they will tell you whatever you need. It's okay. We understand. Sometimes I go to therapy and she's like, no, I don't agree. And you challenge me, you're challenging me. You're pushing me outside of my box. And also, you can't put that all on family.
Family,
You
yeah.
just can't. I can't expect someone to understand my journey and walk with me for that amount of time. How can, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So, how can others who are going through deep grief
Mm-hmm.
find hope and strength to rebuild their lives? So, I would say, two practical strategies or, two pieces of advice to the audience in terms of them being able to find hope and strength during the grieving period.
I mean, find someone that you're inspired by. Find someone that they don't have to have the exact same journey as you, but find someone who you identify with and you admire the way they have been able to overcome the hardships of life.
The challenges.
Yeah, that's a really big one. You'll be inspired by the way they overcome things in their thought process. And even if it's not exactly what you would do, it triggers something in you to be like, well, how would I manage that situation? Well, what can I take from this? I was reading Tina Turner's biography, and there's one line in there, and she's like, I just get up and I just keep on going. I was a tomboy, and I just remembered I fell out of the tree and something was chasing me and I just kept on going. And she was like, I've always been athletic. And I thought, yeah, that's me. I've always been physical. I was like, you get down, get back up again. You identify with that, you've seen someone else go through real sorrow and, well, you've read about it, So that really inspired me. It was a practical tip of just finding that role model, someone to be inspired by. Another practical tip, find some sort of like, I don't know if it's God, meditation, whatever it is, but find something that aligns you, that anchors you. It doesn't have to be, listen, if you are a Buddhist, that's okay. Find something that anchors you and gives you clarity, and allows you to step back and not be like, why me, Robert? But actually, what is this teaching me?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
I think that's a big one. whatever way it comes, but to find something that anchors you to the ground, because your emotions and your grief is going to have you floating in the air. You're going to be all over the place. So yeah, that's really important.
Amazing. And lastly,
Yeah.
what does arise and shine mean to you after everything you've gone through?
You will get through it all. And not only will you get through it all, not only will you arise, all the pain and sorrow will help to make you the best, most beautiful version of yourself. That's what it means. Like that, arise, like, like from the ashes, you will arise. You will make it through. It will. But after all of the fighting, the sorrow, the battles, you cut those scars, those wounds. They're not scars. They're not wounds. They're like your beauty spots. You will shine as your best self. You will be so comfortable in your own skin. You'll be so open-minded. You'll be the most beautiful version of yourself because you really had to fight those demons and those dark days. So yeah, that's arise and shine to me.
I love that. Thank you so much, Kez. So, where can people find you if they want to connect with you and learn more about, how to overcome grief? What's the best platform for them to find you on?
Well, currently, by the time this comes out, Barbara's Daughter, the webpage will be up. So I really would like anyone who's interested in offering their services or working alongside me, if you could find me at www.barbarasdaughter.co.uk, I think it is, or I might have got it wrong. It's still
I'll drop it in the description box.
Yeah, please. You can find me there. Find me there. Drop me an email. Let's connect. Let's talk. Let's work together, and make something happen.
Kez, I just want to thank you so much again for coming onto the Arise and Shine podcast, because what you've gone through isn't easy.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to share your experience on a platform, on a global platform. And you have done so. And I believe not only myself, but the audience have taken from this, and they can apply certain strategies in their own life to overcome, a really difficult situation or grief. So thank you. I'm sure we're going to talk again. This is not the end of the conversation. There's so many topics that I would love to discuss with you, but massive, massive thank you again for all your support and supporting the Arise and Shine mission. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. That's amazing. Thanks. Really appreciate it.